everyone, and welcome to the next episode of The High Performing Woman. This is a platform where I welcome women who are empowered change makers in their respective fields who are willing to share their insights and visions. And so, with that, I'd like to introduce today's topic: from hustle to harmonium. And as a former investment banker, I know all about hustle and the results from that. According to Devin Price, hustle culture is just a fancy way of hiding burnout. I totally agree with that. And Brene Brown, in her book Dare to Lead, said exhaustion is not a status symbol. So I don't believe that the high performing woman will achieve success purely through hustle. So to explore this topic some more, I'm thrilled to introduce Delphine Channels. Now, Delphine has had a multifaceted career that spans creativity, entrepreneurship, personal growth. She's gone from marketing director to podcaster and life coach, and is now the founder of Harmoneum. So, welcome, Delphine.
Thank you, Susan. So happy to be here with you today.
I love your peaceful background. You are so on brand.
I live a very, very peaceful life. This is kind of my everyday environment, so I'm happy to share it.
Wow, that's awesome. So you've had such a cool background. Take me on a whistle stop tour of your career and tell me a bit about your podcast, Delphine Circles. I mean, that's not so much the subject for today, but it's kind of a journey that's led us to where you are now.
Absolutely. I am one of those people that, they say the average person changes jobs every 5 years, and that was me. I kind of jumped around. I started in a career in cosmetics. I worked for a lot of the top cosmetic companies, Estee Lauder, Clinique, Chanel. I love the cosmetic world. When I had children, I couldn't do the corporate thing anymore, so I started doing a series of entrepreneurial business. I was a co-host of a local television show. I was a makeup artist. And then later in life, I got into, I founded my own cosmetic company that exploded, and partly because I was in that hustle lifestyle and I really just imploded. It was just too much. I was trying to fill all the voids with external substances and projects, and it just wasn't working. In 2020, I went through my metamorphosis. I decided, okay, something's not right with my personal development, led me to a life of coaching. I went and earned my coaching certification, started coaching, and in wanting to talk to people about what their experiences where I founded Delphine Circle, which is a podcast that kind of came out of just something I wanted to do to talk to friends. And I think we're about 100 episodes later. It's been a fun experience in my life. And I'm taking a lot of that experience into my newest project with Harmoneum.
So I see that we have Paul here, the hydrogen water pioneer, on this episode. Did you have like a specific focus in the types of people that you interviewed on your show?
Yeah, the idea came again when we were in COVID, and I would look at the television and it was like just catastrophe news. And yet in my own world, I kept seeing so many silver linings. I'm like, wow, I'm spending more time with family than I ever have. My kids are rethinking where their life missions are. The air is cleaner, the water is cleaner. Like, I saw a lot of positive things. And so
Right.
I had this idea that I wanted to start reaching out to friends, especially friends that were in influential positions. So people that were CEOs or had an impact with people, and to see what was their experience and how were these experiences affecting their decisions in business. And so I just created a list of friends that I wanted to talk to. And my girlfriend, she's like, I want to be in those meetings. She's like, in fact, why don't you record them and put them into a podcast? And I kind of felt like I got hit by lightning when she said that. And I was like, okay, yeah, this is what I'm going to do. So I just happened to have a lot of really cool friends. So I kind of started making a list, and it was like my friend JP Farrell, who's the top metaphysical healer in the world. He's like, I'll do it. And my friend Burrell, who's Mayweather's business manager, he's like, I'll do it. My friend Charlie, who's the founding member of Train, he's like, I'll do it. And so it just fell into place. And I started having these interviews, and they really revealed that it didn't really matter how high up on the ladder that you go, people all have the same story, which is first of all, most successful people did not start successful. You know, we all kind of grew up with this idea that you had to have a silver spoon in your mouth to achieve anything. And the vast majority of in fact, I almost can't think of any of them that were born with a silver spoon. And then I also learned that the higher up at the top, the more lonely people were, the more isolated people were, the more not connected to their family, not connected to their spirituality they were. And I started realizing that this was actually talk about a pandemic, right?
Wow. So your journey has gone from the high energy world of broadcasting and entrepreneurship to this more intentional, holistic lifestyle. I mean, tell me a little bit more about the turning point that made you realize hustle wasn't the answer.
Yeah. Susan, I had that life that everybody dreams of. Like I had, a very successful husband. I built a big, 11,000 square foot house in Laguna Beach. I really had all of the trappings that I thought growing up was going to be what made me happy. And I went to bed unhappy every night. And I was doing all of the mantras of, positivity and appreciation and gratitude. I kept thinking I could, I could just work my way. I could, create a mantra that was going to make me happy, and it just wasn't. And I really needed to do a deep dive. And I think part of it was that I was living the life that I thought was expected of me. I was trying to be the wife that I thought my husband needed. I was trying to be the mom that I thought my kids needed. I was trying to be, I hosted every holiday. I did, and yet there was nothing that I was doing that was actually feeding my soul or was actually doing what
Yeah.
me.
There's a quote by Dolly Parton that I love, which is, "You can't consistently do who you aren't."
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So no, I kind of interrupted you. It sounds like you weren't being consistently who you really were, your authentic self, right?
And I think in part is that I didn't really know who I was. I mean, I didn't know what my authentic self was. I got married very young. I was married most of my whole life, and I felt like who I was who I thought was necessary and not really anything about my authentic self. And it was through my personal development work that I really started realizing that authenticity is the key to happiness. It's the key to life. It's the key to success. It's the key to everything. And that became the focus of my coaching. After I got my coaching certification, authenticity became the theme of the retreats that I did. So helping people get in touch with what does that mean? What does it even mean to be authentic? What are your values? If you would ask most people what are your values, most people have never even given a thought to what that is. And so that's kind
And
of
they drive everything. They drive all of your decisions, right?
exactly, exactly. Well, if you don't know what's important to you or what you stand for, that whole saying, if you don't stand for nothing, you fall for everything, right? And it's
Mhm.
kind of true. It's like if you don't have a sense of what your goals are, what your boundaries are, and what your motivations are, then you don't really get anywhere.
How can you be on purpose,
How
right?
can you be on purpose? Exactly, exactly. And I know you and I, Susan, have had talks about this. And I think a lot of women of our age, especially, we were kind of cast into a mold. You either, you had to be a good wife, you had to be a good business person, you had to be a good mom. I mean, how is it that we're supposed to do all of those things and yet still be able to make time for what's important for us? It's like all of our
Right.
energies were directed outward with what was expected to us. And, those are all valuable things to do. It's important to be a good mom and a partner and, a business person, those things are valuable, but not to the exclusion of the spiritual aspects of yourself, the things that are actually at your core, at your soul level.
So, you've been doing these retreats, and I know people love them and they get a lot out of them. But now you've moved into founding Harmonium. Tell me a little bit about Harmonium and why you founded it.
Yeah. Um, well, now we're talking about my baby. Makes me so happy. um,
Yeah.
I One of the things that I learned pretty quickly in these retreats, people would come in, they'd spend 4 days. We would go through all these beautiful practices, meditation and breath work, mindfulness, and we would do a lot of coaching exercises around authenticity and really helping people discover who they are. And they would literally leave just like floating and like, oh, they'd write out their intentions of how they're going to take this back into their life. And then we'd always do a 1 week follow-up call. And Susan, it was consistent. The 1 week follow-up call was always like the sad story.
Like back to inbox 5,000, all the
Exactly.
naysayers in your life, right?
Exactly. And I know you do retreats, so this is not anything new to you. People, and we all do it. We get super excited, we get super motivated, but what is it? How do we maintain that level? How do we maintain those ideas, those goals, those concepts, those practices? And so what I started realizing is that people need support on a daily basis. They need to have their community. And when you've decided to make your spiritualness, and I believe that your authenticity is your spirit. It is your soul. It's who you are inside. It's innately who you are. So
Mhm.
I can't really even talk about authenticity without talking about spirituality, because I think that's where they are connected. And so if you are deciding to make your spiritual self a more focus of your life, you're going to be met with a lot of resistance. You could go plop down in front of your husband and start meditating. He's probably going to start laughing at you. Like, my kids were like, oh, mom. My son actually said to me, mom, I can't even talk to you anymore, because I started saying, well, this is what my spirit wants, this is what my soul wants, I'm following, and he's like, oh, I can't even talk to you. I was like, okay,
You're too woo woo.
too woo woo, mom. And so when you start wanting to make these changes in life, it's not going to be easy. It's going to take consistency. It's going to take being open. It's going to take finding a community around you to support you in this. And so that's what the idea of Harmonium is. It's guided practices. So if you want to meditate, you don't just have to figure it out on your own. We're going to help you and handhold you through that. And you're going to be able to come to hear some masters do it. You're going to have friends and meet new people that are going to do it. We're going to do some live group meditations, which are super powerful. When you bring this thought process into a group setting, it really just amplifies the experience exponentially. Breath work is so powerful. We all are carrying around a bunch of stuff that we need to let go of. Breath work is God's gift to us to release what we are holding on to, right? It is so easy. If you want to know how important your breath is, try going without it for more than 4 minutes, right?
Right, right.
So,
And I recently had my score done as well, and it's also the quality of your breath and how much you're breathing, how often. That's really a big determinant of your health and your energy, which a lot of people don't know.
and it's like, Susan, why were we not taught these things? Why? This is a simple thing. Our breath is our communication of our heart. Our breath is connected to our heart. When you want to calm down, if you're overly emotional, your breath will calm you down. When you get excited and you start laughing, your breath picks up as well. It's the communication of our heart, and yet we've been told to ignore it. We've been taught that it's not important. The only time you're even talked about your breath is when you're a baby. You get stopped up, breathing. That's it. That's it. That's your one test. So, helping people get connected to their bodies, to their minds, to their hearts, to their spirit is really what Harmonium is about. And we offer, in addition to guided practices, coaching, because, let's face it, we all need guidance, and coaching in the different aspects, whether it be emotional or life coaching, relationship coaching. We even have a couple financial coaches on there, because every aspect of your life that involves your emotion, it's nice to have some guidance. It's nice to have somebody to turn to go, how do I deal with this? How do I, how do I handle this? So coaching is a big part of what we do. And then community.
That's I just on that last point though, I think that's a nice segue into my next question, and I'd like to hear more about that. Which, but it's all about, you're going through these different areas, and Harmonium is really about balancing these 5 different aspects. I think you were going and you're talking about the spiritual, the emotional. We got the physical, mental, and social, and I think you were just going in talking about community. What are some of the signs that someone's out of alignment in these areas? Like, who is this for?
That's such a great question. Typically, we can feel that things are off and not really know where it's coming from, right? Like you can say, like for me, when I was, sitting in my big, beautiful house with all of the exterior things, like I didn't know why I wasn't happy. Why is it? So a lot of times when we get quiet, when we start meditating, when we can get quiet with ourselves, the answers start coming up. The answers will start
Yeah.
coming up, and they'll start telling you, hmm, that's not right. You really just, that job is killing you. You'll know. It's like, okay, this is not working, this thing. Or this relationship is not honoring who I am. I don't feel whole and complete in the presence of this person. I feel fearful around this person. You can start identifying what relationships are not in alignment with you. Physically, you can start saying, I am just physically in my body not feeling like I'm at my best self. I feel like I'm not, maybe I'm having anxiety attacks. Maybe I'm having pain. Maybe I'm having, but you got to get quiet with yourself long enough to hear these messages, right?
And hustle is obviously a blocker to that. Like being this
Absolutely.
constantly busy, not being able to. I mean, the body gives you a lot of feedback if you slow down and notice it. I mean, even on my own breast cancer journey, it just doesn't come out of nowhere. If once I took the time, I saw that the signs were there all
Mhm.
along.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit more about some of the other signs that you are. I mean, how does one know when you are not, let's say, spiritually aligned?
Mhm. Um, I think what we find is that if all of your life is being spent externally, if your all of your focus, if you're getting your answers, if something comes up and you need to make a decision about something and you're asking everybody outside of yourself instead of sitting with yourself and looking within for the answer, that's a sign you're probably not in alignment with your spiritual self.
That's brilliant. Yeah, the answer is within. It's like the
The
Wizard
answer.
of Oz moment, right?
Yes. And even that concept, if when people say all of the answers are within inside of you and you have no idea what that means, like wouldn't even know where to begin,
Hmm.
that's probably an indication that you are not in connection with your spiritual self, with your soul self, with your higher self. And it's not, you don't have to be religious. I'm not a religious person. I wasn't raised religious. I'm not affiliated with any specific church. And I think a lot of times when people hear the word spiritual, they say, I'm not, they think that I'm suggesting that they need to go join an organization or a church. And it's really not about that. It's not about anything external. It's about internal. It's about how do you get in touch with what's inside of you and what your essence is. Because I think most people, if you were to ask them, do you believe that there is also a soul connected to this physical body? Most people believe that there is. We have at least
Right.
that level of understanding. But then the curiosity would then take you to the next level and say, okay, well, what does that soul want? What is the role of my soul? What is my soul helping me with? Or how do I best serve my soul? Or how is that soul connected to this life that I'm living? And it's those questions that start leading you down the path to say, am I most connected with my spiritual self? And the great thing about it is it doesn't cost anything. You don't got to go anywhere. You don't even have to go to anybody else. You can really just go within, and we try to help support by giving you guidance of how to reconnect with that internal
Well,
self.
I was going to say that that can be like a maybe isolating journey or a lonely journey if you don't have community. Or I know when people are having spiritual awakenings, they want to talk to someone about it and find some, you know, kindred spirits per se, you know.
Absolutely.
So and and how is that, you know, how is that part of Harmonium as well?
Susan, that's such a good point. We are we are community people, right? We're social beings. We want, we need, we crave that connection with others. And what we're seeing is that there's a mass exodus of people off of social media. You know, it's like the pendulum is swinging back the other way, where people are starting to realize that there's a lot of negativity on social media, and for whatever reasons they don't want to see the politics, or they don't want to see, and people are kind of getting off of it. And yet we do crave that social connection. So a community like Harmonium is all based on a loving environment, a united environment, a united aspect, not subjugating anybody, not pushing anybody off. Oh, there it is. That's what the platform looks like. And it invites people to interact with each other, to share their thoughts, to share their ideas, and to, everything that we do, whether it's a guided practice or a breath work or a movement or even a club event. We also encourage meetups. We sponsor meetups, and we encourage members to sponsor meetups. So
So tell me a little bit about this page I
mhm.
found on there. So this says top members. I mean, have you officially launched yet?
So the members that you're seeing now are content creators. They're all part of the team that is on the platform creating content. We
Right.
have not launched to the public yet, but we're zooming in on it. I think we're about 2 weeks away from that. I hate to set a time and then not feel like I'm ready, but we're getting very close. We're definitely launching in February, in probably the first 2 weeks of February. And so we are busy behind the scenes, creating content, putting up a library of guided practices, a
So
library.
this is the area that I flashed it up earlier.
Mhm.
Sorry to interrupt. Those are
Yeah.
these are the areas like when people will enter it. This is kind of the core starting point. Is this what it is?
Exactly. So when you come in, you are welcome. They get a little overview about what you can find and how to do it. And then we give you a 10-day challenge, which gives you very specific suggestions about how to incorporate your time into the community. So we'll say, okay, this day we want you to go do this practice, this visualization guided practice. The next day, we might suggest that you go and pick out one of the master classes and do a module of one of the master classes. And the master classes might be on chakras, it might be on astrology, it might be on learning to meditate. If you are new to meditation, you might want to do a master class on it and get the background and the history of it. You know, some people like to just dive in, and some people like to really do the analytics before they dive in. And so we're trying to provide as much information for that as we can. We also have interest clubs. So if you are committing to a sober living experience, we have Sobering Experience, which is a club where we just share mocktail recipes and cool places you can go for, and also the health aspects and what's been your experience when you decided to go alcohol free, because it's not necessarily an AA experience, but it's more like a lifestyle decision that a lot of people are making, and we want to
Right.
integrate that as well. So yeah, lots of opportunities to interact. And AI, thank God for AI. You know, we're all have some things that we can be worried about, but there's lots of benefits. And the platform is got AI integrated into it. So like when you join Susan, it'll say, Susan, did you know that Delphine lives within this radius of you and that you guys both are in the broadcast industry and that you both love meditation? And they will
Has
actually,
a little bit of a matchmaking
it is, it
potential.
really does. It has a
Yeah,
match.
because I mean, it's all great to have a community online, but if you can take that offline, that's also awesome. I mean, there's sometimes, even in my community, I'm like, gosh, I wish I had somebody to go on a hike with to this, or
Right?
somebody who would want to go to this beach yoga with me, and
Absolutely.
that's
So
amazing.
meetups
So
are going to be a big part of the community, trying to get people off. And for people who come on board, I'm all about promoting what we do. Promote your event, promote if you have a yoga studio, invite everybody to come in for a class. Let's all integrate, our lifestyles and connect with each other, because we don't just, you're not just spiritual in a bubble. Like it's a
right.
lifestyle. We all have to integrate who we are fully into what we're doing, and we're super in support of all of that and encouraging for people to
So
share.
this really is like a call as well to anybody in any of those areas of emotional, spiritual, social, physical, mental experts, a call to them to join your platform, as well as people that are seekers and wanting to learn more about those different areas. Is that right?
It's for all levels. It can be for the beginner person who just says, you know what, I need to learn more about this. And it could be for an advanced person who is, fully integrated into the fifth dimensional elevation and ascension. And, we're going to have a little something for everybody. I have a girl here that I met at a retreat, and she is so beautiful. She is a vocal sound healer. She has an operatic voice, and she channels energy and can reach resonance to actually heal people with the sound. It is like unbelievable. This platform has opened me up to meeting so many incredible people that I wouldn't
Wow.
have met otherwise. And I'm so excited to kind of bring this community together.
This is awesome. So I think you had a special offer. We have, the high performing woman listeners. I mean, if they email you,
Absolutely.
the first members get a lifetime membership for 29 a month, which is pretty much about half off the normal. And so this is awesome. I
Yeah.
mean, and that is really great value. Like, what do you get for that? Tell me.
So you get full access to the whole community. We don't have different levels of membership. There's just one level of membership, which gives you all access to everything. So you'll be able to access the library of all of the practices. So if you're new to breath work, you can press a button and somebody's going to walk you through, help you set up. You're going to get interviews with people explaining how to do things. You're going to get opportunities to ask questions, chat with other members. You can save things so that you can go back to where you want. And you'll have an opportunity to see a whole bunch of content on things that may be new to you, or maybe something that you're already into, and you get to get more of it. And of course, you'll get invites to all of the meetups and the community events. We'll be doing podcasts. We'll be able to meet all the coaches. We'll be doing group meditations, so you can join online into a bigger group of people and really create change on the planet for positive exponential growth. We think it's amazing because we are not launched yet. If any of your listeners want to email me, Delphine at Harmoneum, we'll send them a link that will give them this offer. And when the site go live, they'll be the first winners. And we're offering that to the
What an amazing opportunity. So I love what you're doing. I think that this is really exciting. In fact, I know that you've asked me to be a part of it as well.
Yes.
So I'm looking forward to contributing to this platform in due course. And I just want to thank you. Thank you for being on the show and sharing your journey and your insights. And I thank you to our listeners. if you can, this episode, once it's posted, will be on the High Performing Woman YouTube channel. So you can go there. So if you can like and subscribe, and of course, share it to somebody you think would benefit from this amazing platform, that would be great. So any parting words that you'd like to share with us, Delphine, or shall we call it a wrap?
Well, I just want to thank you so much for providing this platform to talk more about our spiritual essence, because I think it's something that we all need to be more focused on. And it's with people like you and shows like this that create the opportunity for us all to kind of come together. And I appreciate you, Susan. You're a beautiful, shining light.
I appreciate you too, Delphine. Thank you very much. And thank you to our listeners. And watch out for this shortly on YouTube. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.